Feeling the heat in Hamburg as the G20 world leaders arrive for this summit. Thousands of protesters are there too, and they're getting fired up. Tension escalates over North Korea. The United States UN envoy threatens military force after Pyongyang's latest ballistic missile test. And CNN's threat to reveal the creator of that viral Trumple Wrestling clip backfires. Now the internet community's railed against the channel. We'll tell you all about it. Good afternoon from me, Kevin Owen. It's just turned midday here in Moscow this Thursday, the 6th of July. Our top stories from RT International. First, this. 6 people have been arrested in a second night of protests against the G20 summit in the German city of Hamburg. Seems a Porsche dealership was targeted in the arson attack. It's destroyed 8 luxury cars there, we hear. Police believe left-wing activists protesting the event were behind the incident. That's all just happening hours then before the first delegation for that big G20 arrived by plane in Hamburg. And not all of those participating are expecting to get a warm welcome either. This is just the start of it. Here's why. You may not know this. Hamburg is known for historically having some far-left extremists living there, for a start. Local police say they're expecting about 8,000 violent demonstrators to be out on the streets making their feelings heard. Over 170 groups from around Germany have signed a call to protest in Hamburg. As we've seen, there have already been clashes against this big meeting coming up.
Well, I'm here outside of Rote Flora, or Red Flora. It's one of the oldest squats in Germany. People have been squatting here since 1989, after the government said, or the local city government said, they wanted to redevelop this site. Well, they fought tooth and nail with city authorities right up until 2014, when the anti-capitalists and far-left groups, well, they won, and the city government backed down and said they could have this site. It's now a cultural centre, and it's become one of the main jumping-off points for this year's No to the G20 demonstrations. Here you can see plenty of banners around putting across the message that demonstrators want to give to those 20 world leaders as they arrive here in Hamburg. There's also places where people can get information about where demonstrations are taking place as well. And plenty of those demonstrators are already making themselves heard here in Hamburg. This is a much more serene scene on Wednesday evening than perhaps we saw on Tuesday night. They're doing it all under the watchful eye of a heavy police presence here. We're expecting as many as 20,000 police officers, perhaps even more, taking part in what's being called the largest police operation in recent German memory. However, it was here on Tuesday evening that things got ugly early on. And it's that heavy police presence which I think is set to play a crucial role in how this G20 summit plays out. You can see many officers, many police vehicles all around me here. We've actually spoken to some demonstrators who said they think that the police presence could be what triggers demonstrators into violence. However, we shouldn't really kid ourselves here. We are expecting to see what's being called the biggest black bloc ever. Now, the black bloc are the real hard line of the leftist groups. Now, they're the ones that usually get involved whenever there's any major trouble. And in fact, we have seen a lot of people from those organisations around here, those people that are involved in those type of groups here. And we're expecting to see even more. Now, what we have seen is police take part in a raid in which they collected a cache of weapons that was supposedly heading here to Hamburg, perhaps to be used in these demonstrations, particularly the Welcome to Hell demonstration, which is set to take place later on Thursday. Now, this cache of weapons included things like throwing knives, brass knuckles, baseball bats, telescopic batons and precision catapults, which have been described by police as a potentially very dangerous weapon in the right or wrong hands, depending on how you look at it. It does seem that whilst there are peaceful demonstrations taking place, there is always the possibility that this could flare up, it could boil over, and we could see more violence. And I think it would be an eternal optimist that would think we'd get through to Saturday and the G20 being finished without seeing more clashes between police and demonstrators.
Tensions might not be restricted to outside the summit's walls either, because inside, of course, some leaders are not at all seeing eye to eye on a number of big challenges right now facing the global community.